people are like, you have to have it in the mail by then, and you have to order it by this and order it by that. And
Well,
I
I
don't trust it
heard
anyway.
on Monday on the news they said it was a Green Monday, and I'm like, well, what's Green Monday? And that's like you're in the last time frame to get it here shipping wise is what Green Monday means. So
Great. Good luck.
took care of it yesterday. We'll see what happens.
Hope it works out for you.
That's right. We got snow coming in.
Yeah, I was paying attention to that a little bit this morning, and it seems like overnight tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we are in this very narrow band of like 3 to 5 inches. They've said it can move either way, like 20 miles, and as we all know, sometimes when we talk about 3 to 5 inches, we end up with 3/5 of an inch. But we'll see, so be aware. Our teams are aware, and looks like today getting out of school is not a problem. Maybe getting out of sporting events later tonight, slightly problem. Tomorrow morning, more likely to be a problem. So just be weather aware.
We will wait and see. Randy Ollis is going to update us at 9 o'clock, so we'll find out what he thinks. He might get fired today if he thinks we're really going to get this snow. This might be the end.
I don't know. He's only been doing it for how many years? Right?
You know, just a few.
So yeah, just be a little bit attentive to that, and our teams will be ready to go overnight, first thing in the morning, depending on how and when it falls. And then I think Saturday, we're at a little bit more risk for some more snow, but it's going to be more drift oriented, which sometimes creates more problems than just a big heavy burst because we can get it out of the way.
And the cold's coming in, right? The Arctic cold.
So check on your pets and neighbors and friends. Be cognizant and aware of that as well.
Can't wait. So excited
I bet
for
you
that.
can wait, but here it comes.
Here it comes. Here we are. You had City Council and Board of Works this week.
We did. So as always, we started with the Board of Works, and I think there was this Brendan Bridges, who obviously is the SRO now, but former police chief, still does a lot with Special Olympics, and he was back to present. So I was like, well, welcome back. He's like, I haven't stood at this podium for a couple of years, but he was there talking about a road closure over by the junior high on North Street. Very minimally impactful, mid-February, not a big deal to a lot of people, but the idea and what it's for is really cool. So the Greensburg Junior High School was one of 5 schools in the state of Indiana selected to do an on-site polar plunge for Special Olympics. And so they're going to set that up in a portable pool on the west side of the junior high there where the buses load and unload. And it's for staff and students only, but what a cool opportunity for the junior high.
Very cool. Are you going to participate?
No.
It's going to be cold.
Yes. I start out cold and I finish the day cold, so I do not need a cold bath.
You don't need a little help there in the middle?
No. But I am very glad that they're doing it, and Brendan's been such a huge champion of Special Olympics for as long as I've known him, forever probably.
Forever.
And I'm excited. You could really see he was excited to bring this event to the junior high, and he stands commended for doing that. So we were happy to approve that as well.
That's exciting.
It is, and we'll see what happens in mid-January or February.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, he's really grown that program at the school as well, so excited for him. Very good.
One of the other really kind of interesting things that went through the board this week was a contract with a company called Vialytics. Lewis Moore, who's our assistant street commissioner, introduced this, but then we had Slater Rush, who's the representative for the company. And what it is the simplified version of it is it's AI-based asset management for streets and roads. And what that means in long form is this new technology exists with the use of a normal iPhone strapped to the hood of a garbage truck or something that drives every street however often. And it takes a photo every 10 feet as you drive along up to like 45. It'll do it up to 45 miles an hour, which I think is fascinating. And it identifies through AI the different types of pavement distressing, cracks, failures, low depressions, potholes, sunken storm inlets. It identifies storm inlets, manholes that protrude or are protracted from the road surface, street signs, damage, placement, reflect, or whether they're dirty or they're blocked, like if there's a tree limb in front of it and you can't see it, street lights, stop signs, obviously. And so it uploads all of that in real time to a GIS-based system. So we have a GIS division inside the city government. We've had it for 25 years. and it will tie with our existing systems. So what it really does, it kind of, we're overlapping some services, but the service that we're really mostly using is the data collection. And so we go out and do a Paiser rating every 2 years at this point, and it is very whoever's doing it opinion as to what the de-stress, what the crack, what the fracture, what the sinking area is. Whereas this is a much more real time. It's almost like Google Street View, and we have unlimited data. We have unlimited use of the technology. We have unlimited days. In theory, we could run it every day if we wanted. I don't think we're going to do that, but we could. And so I think we're probably going to start with every 2 to 3 weeks and try to get a good baseline for what's happening. And then we also have an updated Google Street View for internal use every couple weeks. So if we need to go back and look at something, and where we run into that most frequently is private utilities or homeowners that do street cuts without getting a street cut permit. So if you're going to go into the right of way and put in a sewer lateral or a gas line or a fiber connection, something like that, you have to get a street cut permit through the Director of Public Projects office. So we're able to go back and say, well, how long is that? Where did that one come from? And was it there 2 weeks ago? And we can actually use that to go back and look and see and try to nail down some details about something then. So really, really neat program.
It's really fascinating technology, though. The fact that at that kind of speed and the frequency.
Yes. And it's a pretty affordable, which I was, when I've heard about this, I've seen 2 presentations on it at different things. And then when we were at AIM, Clerk Treasurer Amy Bournes was in a presentation, and she had an interesting take on how to use it. So we brought them to meet with Lewis and Street Commissioner Klosterkamper and myself and kind of walk through it. And then you get to, okay, so what's the price? And you go, hold on. And actually it was pretty reasonable it's a 3-year contract. It's a fixed price for all 3 years, unlimited use, unlimited data. And if something were to happen with the technology, the phone falls off the front of the truck and gets ran over, it's their responsibility to replace it at no cost. So I think we're going to try it out for a while, and the board agreed, and we're excited to use the technology component. And it's just another interesting place that most of us don't think about AI being implemented, but and Lewis, who manages our outside crew, made the comment that it would probably save a lot of time because you can automatically generate work orders that are geotagged. So if a sign is damaged or missing, you just hit report and it goes to whoever he assigns it to, and then they click, we've done this, here's a new photo, great. You don't have to fill out the paperwork, you don't have to fill out the form, keeps track of it so we can pull data for it as well.
Very nice. Would that start at the beginning of the year?
Yep. January 1st is our first day under that contract, so I'm sure they'll be here very early in January to get everybody trained up on it.
Very exciting.
It is cool. And it's it's interesting technology for sure.
Very good.
Then we, more street work, but in a different capacity. Over wastewater had a agreement for NDOT. This is for the Main Street project we've been talking about for a couple years. We had already committed our utilities to doing some work while NDOT's working on Main Street, which is great. Before Ron May retired, our former city engineer, he was able to document and prove to NDOT that the utilities, especially the water, predated the Main Street becoming a state highway. Therefore, we were ahead of the state, and it's the state's responsibility to deal with our water lines, to update, improve, move them at their expense, which is great. And that wasn't necessarily the case for all of the sewer. So we did have to commit some funding for sewer. We committed about $235,000 for the Main Street project as it relates to that. But NDOT has an extraordinary cost provision, which means that we have to authorize up to a different amount. So we had to authorize about $530,000, but we expect it to be closer to that 230-250 range. So it is a commitment, but it's not necessarily money that will be spent. They just want to be sure that if they're in there digging and they need to do something additional, they don't have to wait on us to get a decision that gets the board's decision, that the board then says no, and then NDOT's like, well, now what do we do? So it's sort of like
a little surplus.
It's like a contingency, yeah. overall, since we're talking about Main Street, it's about a $13.5 million investment by NDOT in Main Street. So it'll be Ireland Street, which is there by the Speedway, sort of in front of City Hall, out to the rail will be full reconstruct, and then from the rail all the way to the bypass will be just new asphalt surface. And then over from Lincoln Street to the library will be a total new reconstruct as well. It is my understanding that they intend to start that in 2027. So we are not there yet. In 27 is a long ways away, but I know
On the horizon.
it's on the horizon, and I know a lot of folks are consistently asking about the condition of especially East Main Street from the library over to Lincoln Street. We're pushing on NDOT. NDOT's pushing, and 27 is when they intend to start that. I don't know which end they'll start on, or if they'll do them both at the same time, or how the traffic flow is going to work. But when that information comes available, we'll share it out.
All right, very good. 27 is only a year away.
Yeah,
at this point.
Yeah, not far really. And their 27, I actually think starts July of 26 because they run on the state runs on a July 1 fiscal year. So when they say 27, that may actually be fall of 26, but we'll wait and see.
That's right.
We'll wait for the pave. We'll wait for the pave milling machines to show up.
That's right.
A couple other purchases of equipment for wastewater replacement truck for their VACCon from 1992. So they're excited about getting a much more updated and modern version of that. They've worn the other one out. And then so our newer one that we have now will become our secondary, and this one will become our primary. Some equipment purchases for the fire department. We also had promotions of Miller and Hawkins at the fire department, so they moved into their they finished their full first year with us, so now they are first class firefighters, which we're excited to have on our fleet.
It's exciting.
Yeah, they've been great additions, so we're excited to see them continue to grow with us. Police Chief McNeely came to purchase one police car for next year at this time, and then we had an offer and an update to the handbook as it relates to some pay for like Operation Pullover, like federal grant fundings that we just passed through. So we hear a lot of times about OPO, and those dollars are provided either by the state or federal governments to do additional above and beyond normal service, normal patrols, and when those officers are clocked in as that, they receive the funds from that. So he was updating our handbook to better reflect that policy as well. And then the last two things that came through the Board of Works of I think should be of great interest to everyone is some work in downtown to buildings this time, not the streets. And this is with our region, with our READY region, so Accelerate Rural Indiana. We're mobilizing some READY dollars into downtown. So I know the project on North Franklin Street has been ongoing for a while, but they're making progress. They've gotten the old roof front structure removed. They're working on getting new ones up. But we are shifting gears to the south side. So the first one is 112 South Franklin Street, which is the city has owned that building since I think like 2010, 11. Somewhere. It's been a long time. It's been completely vacant and non-used, not underutilized, like no use since then. So we are going to partner with Main Street, and they're going to revive it and turn it into some type of space that's beneficial to Main Street, whether that be for business themselves, for rentals, etc. But there is going to be some ready funds moved that way to assist Main Street. So we've already voted to donate the building to Main Street. That was earlier this year. This is to approve the funding that comes through READY. There are no city dollars attached to it. It's just READY dollars. And then Main Street will get underway.
It'll be nice to see that building become something because
Yes.
It's just sat there.
Yeah. And so I'm hopeful that, by mid-fall, it'll be fully up and operational. But I'm championing Main Street to get moving on it. And we're within striking distance, which is great. The other one is 117 East Main Street, which is the old bank building that is directly east of Alley 1822. So it's the building that has the east wall. Obviously, we've made some investments in the alley. Steve Adam, who owns the buildings that Edward Jones is in, has been a partner in working through us with this process. So that building recently sold to a developer who is interested in improving and making it a space that's usable. It has also been vacant for 15 years,
A long time.
20 years, a long time. Yes.
Yeah.
It's been damaged and ransacked and pillaged over the years, but I think the folks that bought it have a great reputation and we're excited. They don't have a full laid out plan yet, but I think the part, so there's some ready dollars going to that too. Again, no city dollars, just ready dollars, regional ready dollars. And the best piece of it, I think, is as a part of the agreement, there is a commitment to publicly accessible, available restrooms in our downtown. This is one of the biggest hiccups and stumbling blocks that we have with events downtown. And I blame no business for saying these are for customers only, or, hey, our plumbing just doesn't support, for lack of better terms, commercial use. We have a couple of those as well. So when we have events downtown that are not vendor specific, or something like the rail experience comes to town, it's very challenging to find publicly available restrooms. Obviously, the courthouse, you have to work with the commissioners. There has to be somebody that's there. If it's during the week, then it's through security. If it's during the weekend, you got to make all these other arrangements. So while I'm not saying that can't happen, and of course you got to go up an elevator or a set of stairs, not saying that won't continue to be an option maybe if they want to continue to partner, but this may be an opportunity to have them more readily available, have them outside of a business capacity, and also have it tied to the alley, which is great as well. So I think that's a really big piece of the puzzle that a lot of people have brought up to me over the last 6 years of, hey, we need restrooms downtown. Don't disagree. Where do they go? Who's going to maintain them? Who's going to build them? And so I think we've arrived at that with this agreement and in that building. And, the ready dollars are helping contribute to a great public benefit.
Be a great asset to downtown, though. It's
Yes.
quite a challenge. I've heard that for years as well. And, we were downtown this weekend and walking around. It can be a challenge to find a restroom. So.
Yeah. And, I think we're to a point where some people that attend festivals quite often expect there to be a type, nothing wrong with portable pots or portalets, but I think we've sort of arrived at a moment in history where, what do you mean you don't have real restrooms that are available for this event? Like, well, we don't. Oh, because it's becoming.
Becoming the norm.
It's much more common than it was 15 years ago.
Yeah, much more becoming the norm.
Yeah.
So, you also had city council.
We did. Much less exciting meeting as far as just more administrative end-of-year type things. Brian Robbins with the Economic Development Corp came and presented the housing study. We talked about that a little bit. I think he has made his rounds, or maybe he has one more to go. But that information is soon to be available publicly as soon as he gets done presenting it all, as he makes his way. We did a little bit of zoning. We did a little bit of ordinance work as it relates to some fees for the wastewater company. Amy Bournes came with a whole list of things, mostly just end of year, tidy up, personnel, policy changes, etc. Nothing incredibly exciting there. The big news that came out of the city council meeting was that the city council did accept an offer on the old fire station. So
yes,
I hope Sandy's listening this morning. Sandy spent
she's been waiting
1 year asking me every week what was going to happen with the old fire station or any news at the fire station. So today's the day.
Today is her day.
Today is the day. Coors Heating and Cooling, Tim and Kelly Coors, approached us a couple months ago about expanding and relocating their business into the old fire station. And we have been working and talking with developers and different opportunities over the last year to find a new use and home for it. We want to be sure that whoever bought it understands that we value it as a front door to the community. It's a gateway property, which when you own a business is great, right? You like high traffic numbers, but we want that to continue to be a good front door. And I love a quote that Tim made to me. He said, well, we run a business, and obviously a very respectable one at that, but we run a business where we go into people's homes. And so we want people to know that they can trust us and that we're a quality company to come in and do something in their home. And I thought, great, that's somebody who values that it's a front door property. They intend to keep the building, which is great. That was never a requirement when we were talking to anybody about the developments, but I know some folks thought maybe should be preserved forever because it was a fire station. We did not take that approach, but It's his intention to keep the building and use it and be, there for however long he chooses to be. But we're excited. So, Coors Heating and Cooling's purchased it, and we're going to finish up the paperwork yet this month, and it'll probably be off our books by mid-January.
I think, too, being a local business, it makes it even more, I will say more special, but it is because we're keeping them here locally. It's a business that came from here and utilizing a property that obviously has a lot of potential. So
yeah, and we're excited to see them grow, which is fantastic. They're doing some work for the owner-occupied rehabilitation grant as well. Coors Heating and Cooling won that bid through ARA, and so they've been doing great work with that. They've been serving, obviously they're getting paid to serve in that capacity, but they're serving in that capacity, which is providing, heating and air to low to moderate income individuals in our community that have met the criteria and applied and gone through that whole process. So no, I'm excited to see him and excited to see it getting reuse and re-life. And I always love a good development project, but I also love a good business expansion or relocation. But, we gave it a really good shot at trying to reimagine the site. It's hard. The building's expensive to tear down. It's expensive to remodel, and it sits on a weird shaped lot. All the problems we ran into when we were talking about it being a fire station. So I think we gave a great effort to finding, an innovative reuse for it over the last 18 months. And I think this is a great use for it, too. Not upset about it at any capacity.
That's right. Very good. Anything else happening at City Council?
I think that was about it. We did take a moment and recognize Mindy Myers, who was the Decatur County Animal Control and Shelter Manager, while Decatur County is the actual agency that oversees the animal control. We are 50-50 funding partners of it. So in a way, Mindy's sort of a pseudo part of our team. And unfortunately, she passed away last week. And we just want to thank her for, her years of dedication and service. She's really helped the shelter a lot. And, our thoughts and prayers are with her and her family in that very trying time. So we did recognize her at the meeting as well.
All right. Very good. We were downtown this weekend. Lots of action happening downtown. I was very impressed with the involvement of all the downtown businesses this weekend for the holiday walk.
There was a lot. There was a lot going on too. I don't know how many actual events were happening, but I mean, between like bookmarks and letters to Santa and snowball fights, and it seems like you could have probably had 44 different versions of hot chocolate if you had stopped at every place that was doing hot chocolate. But
the cookies, we can't forget the cookies.
And the cookies were great. So, yeah, a great event. I don't know what the attendance numbers were. I haven't heard from tourism on that, but it seemed like a really great turnout. And the tree lighting part's always super magical and special, and had a really great crowd for that. I would love to get a drone photo of that sometime. I just don't know.
I think that's a goal for next year.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that myself. Like, we can't really, where we're standing, you can't really take it all in. Which
is ironic because we stand at the front on a raised piece of concrete by the tree, but yes, you can't. You actually don't have any idea of what's happening out there.
That's right. The Manships had the gingerbread alley this year.
Oh yeah, Heritage Hill.
Yes, along with the snow machines.
I hope if you didn't get down there, that's what we were teasing last week, right? Was Emily had said that she had commercial grade artificial snow machines, and I thought, okay, great, it's like a bubble thing, and she didn't know about electric. That's why she was asking me about it. So they set up the coloring gingerbread houses in the alley, and the snow machines would generate so much stuff it was actually melting their cardboard, and like the crayons were like running off the side of the. It was snowing so hard.
It was snowing so hard, yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Loved it.
I know.
Every minute of it.
I'm surprised you didn't try to get one, for in here or something.
I know.
You should have worked with them on that, but
it's not over. It's not done.
That's right. But yeah, they had a really cool setup, and they wanted to be, when they were talking to the board. Emily Manship, Heritage Hill Events, actually serves on the Main Street board, and she wanted to do something for the day, but it's just kind of that much too far outside of the district. I mean, it's in the district, but to walk down there, especially with kids, and if it's really cold and people don't know, how to get there or what it is, or that it's even down there. And so I think they're bringing that up to Alley 1822. They had a big banner and a great sign, obviously promoting them, but also being an engaged business in the Main Street district and an active board member and doing something different. I think just checks all the boxes, and they just did it so well. But yeah, the snow machines were cool.
They were fun. Yes, they cranked them up there for a minute for us, and it was like a blizzard.
And we had people that it was blowing. It was like the wind was just right. It was blowing out in the main street, and people were like slowing down. And look, I thought we were going to cause a wreck, and thought they were going to cause a wreck.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm not going to take any responsibility for
That's
that.
right. Exactly.
We're just the host.
Just the host. But great event. Main Street did a great job with that. Everybody involved had a good parade. So Christmas is here.
Yeah, and just a couple weeks, and I know everybody's still quite busy out there, but there's a lot. There's a lot of year to go. Lots going on, and we've got one more of these before the holiday break.
That's right.
And it'll be fine.
That's right. I drove by Zaxby's yesterday, and goodness, I don't know if they'll make the end of December, but it's.
I think I had heard that they had pushed it to mid-January, which makes way more sense to me, even just for getting staffing. I mean, think about that too. Like, you're trying to get people trained, and you've got Christmas Eve and day off, and
and weather. You've got weather.
Yeah. So I've not heard an official date from them. I've not heard any official news, but they're moving, which is great. So
they're moving. The hotel continues as well out on Veterans Way.
Windows are in. I'm assuming that is at least where they get it, so they can work in it over the winter. I'm sure they'll do temp heat and try to put drywall up and plumbing and electrical and all that. So I imagine that's probably the vast majority of the exterior work for the year. But windows are in, doors are in. And
do we have any approximate date on completion for that?
I think they're targeting spring of 27 on that one. So it seems like they're moving faster than that, but the inside work, I guess, slows down or what. But I don't think it's in 26.
All right. Freeland Road, we're not going to make it.
We are, I think we'll consider that one DOA.
You weren't quite ready yesterday or last week. Sorry.
Yeah. I think we'll probably consider that one. I don't think we're going to be paving that one on Christmas Day, so I think it's probably done.
You think that's it?
We'll just wait for 26 on that one.
It's over.
Over. That, as we talked about last week, we did not receive any CCMG awards for 26-1, which is very frustrating. But we'll work on some other stuff. And
has there been any more discussion about that? I know it was a little, and actually, Senator Leisinger, at least just for her area, and it seemed like just overall funding was down.
Yeah, the General Assembly cut some pretty significant funding measures and pieces and parts in the budget process, which is kind of frustrating because I think it's generally funded by gas tax. It went to there was $150 million committed to the project, I believe, 50 million of which had to go to Indianapolis. And so that leaves $100 million across every other city, county, town in the state of Indiana. And I was at Mayor's Institute last week, which is sort of our winter training, and the question was asked, 50 mayors in the room, how many of you didn't get funding? And I think 40 raised their hand. So pretty high number. Seems kind of like counties got more funding. I know Decatur County got half of what they asked for, but they did get some, but they only got half of what they requested, and we didn't get any. So we'll see.
Did they disperse the remaining?
Yeah, they gave it all out.
Okay, it did all go out. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we'll see.
See what happens.
We'll chug along.
That's right. Was there much conversation about SB1?
There was a lot, and obviously about redistricting. So that vote is this afternoon in the Senate. So we should know about that by 4 o'clock this afternoon. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Lots of questions, lots of discussion about SB1. It'd be interesting because we've, in theory, have started session. They started 2 weeks early. They're filing bills. They're holding committee hearings. They're not exactly, moving at breakneck speeds. But, right after the first of the year, I think when they get back, that discussion will be back top of mind for sure. So we'll see how that goes.
All right. Next week, we'll wrap up the year.
That's right. It'll be here.
All right. It's 8 o'clock here on Tree Country 1330. Anything else before next week?
I don't think so. Everyone have a great weekend, and we'll chat next Thursday.